What's going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Football Show. Oh, I have a little throat problem. All right. As always, I'm your host, TZL Baby, brought to you each and every week by our friends at one2love.net. Okay. Well, Wild Card Weekend has come and gone, and I am 4-0. 4-0. It's a beautiful thing. I didn't get that last year. I missed one. Kind of burned me. So this makes me feel a lot better. But yeah, 4-0. Now we're gonna continue on. My goal is to try to be undefeated throughout the entire playoffs and pick every single game right. Um, I was one short of that last year, so I was like, I missed one game for the entire playoffs. I'm hoping if I can get through this round and then get into the championship round and then get to the Super Bowl. We'll see. But I'm like I said, out of all those playoff games, I missed one game, and it just burns me. I wanna have a perfect record this year. This particular year's matchups are a little bit more difficult to predict. But just a quick one, since there are only 4 games. Let's get into the wild card weekend and see how. Well, you already know how I did. I did 4-0, but yeah, Texans beat the Bengals. Green Bay beat the Vikings. Ravens beat the Colts, and the the Seahawks beat the Redskins. All of which I predicted. Um, yeah, I'm a genius. I can't help it. Um, but like I said, if you guys follow me, you already know this. Go get that money. Do what you do. Um, as always, if you want to tweet me, ask me a question, anything about football, I'm always open. At your boy TZ on Twitter, tzfbaby at yahoo.com. You can email me, send me a question. I always like interacting with people that watch the show. And we are now on YouTube. We are on the Midgets with Machetes channel. So much this year may not make. I mean, because the season's almost over, but going in next year, that'll be a big thing for us. It'll really, really increase our viewership. These last few shows of the season are going to be broadcasted on YouTube as well, though. So the live broadcast will always be on Ustream, and then we will, after the live broadcast, it will be uploaded to YouTube shortly thereafter, probably within the next hours within less than an hour after the broadcast. But either way, don't have a particular format. I'm just doing this thing out of a basement somewhere miles below the city, So either way, let's get into the NFL Divisional playoffs. This is when it gets a little bit more exciting. Always like this round. Competition is, of course, a lot better. All the teams are a lot better. There are no scrubs. It's like you always get a scrub or two in the wild card weekend. You know, somebody that, well, what was it? About 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 seasons ago. Yeah, Pete Carroll's first year as the Seahawks head coach, and they had what, 8-7. Either way, it was like a 7-9 or something like that. something. Yeah, I think it was 7-9, and they ended up winning the division. And the Saints, even though they had a way better record, but Atlanta had won their division, had to come to Seattle on wild card weekend, which they was like, hey, no problem, we'll just go on to beat these dudes down right quick. And they came to Seattle, and Marshawn Lynch just went beast on them and just broke off like a 70-something yarder. It was just hard, and they got devastated. It was ugly, and all of a sudden New Orleans got beat in the second round. In the first round of the playoffs, and Seattle actually ended up getting to the third round. Yeah, they went because the next week they played Chicago, and that was the game where Jay Cutler got hurt and left the game. Then everybody's like, "Oh, he's not that tough. He didn't stay and finish the game." And so Seattle ended up getting to do that, and then finally they got eliminated. That being said, that was a hell of a playoff run. I mean, like I said, a lot of people said they shouldn't have been there the first week, but they ended up winning that game, and the next game after that, got to say something about that. Either way, let's get into this year's divisional playoffs, and the Seahawks are here yet again. 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. Surprisingly, not a primetime Sunday night game, though. They do have a late afternoon. The Patriots and the Texans are going to be what's that? 4:30 Eastern time. Okay, according to this, 4:30 Eastern time. Now here, so that's 3:30. I'm in Central Time zone. That's 3:30. It's a little surprising because I know that game. If they put that game on in prime time, people are going to be watching it. Sunday night, there's not a lot of stuff on. I mean, it's like The Simpsons or the football game. I like The Simpsons too, though. But yeah, basically. But let me do this thing right quick. I know y'all get tired of hearing me babble. Let's see. The first game here. The Denver Broncos are hosting the Baltimore Ravens. We have, of all for the 4 games that are being done over this weekend, 3 of the 4 are all rematches. These are all rematches. Denver beat the Ravens. The Ravens were in Baltimore, beat them. This was week 14 of the season. Peyton picked them apart. Now they get to face them again, and this time they're at home. I am taking Denver and wishing Mr. Ray Lewis a very, very happy end to his career. I didn't really touch on that in the first part of when I was mentioning that, but yeah, that was the whole thing. When they played the Colts, Ray did his little dance and the whole deal. And then they stomped out Andrew Luck and the Colts. It was a beautiful thing. Anyway, Chuck Strong. But I do believe that this will be Ray Lewis's final game here. So if you're a Ray Lewis fan, watch this game because you're going to be watching one of the greatest of all time in a final performance. Now, there's some that believe the Ravens have a legitimate shot of winning this game. I just don't see that in Denver. If they were in Baltimore, I'd give them a much better shot. I got to take the Broncos, especially at home. And the fact they won like 11 straight, yeah, I'm not seeing that. You got San Francisco 49ers hosting Green Bay. This is the first game of the year. Green Bay Packers got destroyed by the 49ers and started off the season, very bad. They were like in last place. The Lions and the Vikings had better records than them first couple of weeks, and then they got hot and ended up winning the division. So there you go. You can never tell. It's football. That's why you got to play the games. But the 49ers are at Candlestick. They hosting Green Bay. Green Bay got a lot to prove. They coming in here getting ready to tear these boys out the frame. I'm going to take the 49ers on this one. Although Green Bay looks good. But I don't know. I'm taking the 49ers on that. I got to take the 49ers. They're at home. And they don't look as intimidating as they looked the first half of the year. But they still, I got to take them. I got to do my thing. So I'm taking 49ers on that. But that's an iffy game. If that can go either way, but the reason I'm picking 49ers, they are at home, so I'm taking 40 Seattle Seahawks on the road again. So they're gonna have to, for them to be able to get to the Super Bowl, they're gonna have to win every game on the road. That's gonna be crazy. I do have them. They're playing the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's at home, and they've only lost one game at home all year. I do not like Matty Ice. I believe he is overrated. I am going to take the Seattle Seahawks in this game. Seattle will win this game. It's going to be close, but Seattle will win this game. I am taking Seattle to win this on the road, and then they will get to face the 49ers the following week, and that will be an interesting matchup. Woo! All right. Last game. This is this one another rematch. The Houston Texans from my AFC South, New England Patriots. Patriots beat the brakes off of the Texans the last time they played them a couple weeks ago in Foxborough. And they get to stay in Foxborough for the rematch. Texans, I know they think they are going to be better than they were the last time they played them, but I just have a feeling, yeah, I'm taking, I'm taking New England. There's a shocker. Tom Brady will get to the AFC Divisional, the AFC Championship, where he will get to face Peyton Manning, and whoever wins that game is gonna win the Super Bowl. I don't know. NFC looks real good this year, but I do see another epic Manning Brady conference champion, the conference championship. I keep saying division. The AFC conference championship will be the Broncos versus the Patriots, and the Broncos will get to host that game, and that will be another rematch from where the Patriots beat the Broncos early in the season when Peyton was still trying to find his rhythm. But Peyton's found it now. He done found that rhythm. If you've been watching Peyton these last few weeks, he has found his rhythm. He is not washed up, and the coach probably should have kept him around. But in the short term, he's still a man, and they should have kept it going. Long term, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's 36 now. If he plays another 4 or 5 years, I mean, that would put him at like 40, 41. What's he going to be? He got 2 young kids. He got twins at home. I don't know how long the boy going to keep playing. Whether he going to be 43 years old and still playing, and I don't see that. Although the way they protect these quarterbacks now, and he is a pocket passer, I can see Peyton. Peyton could be 41, 42 years old. If he still keep in shape and keep working hard like he do, he could be one of those guys and keep, grinding it out. It could be like that. I could see him, still playing in his early 40s. I could see Tom Brady for sure doing that. I could see Tom Brady being like 41 years old and still being one of the best in the league. As long as they keep surrounding him with that talent. They got to keep the talent. The thing about the last season I did, which I probably should have done this season too. I did the top 5 organizations as far as and what I qualified. I taught the coaching, the GM, everything, what they do with their draft picks, everything. I picked the top 5, then I picked the bottom 5 the following week. And why it's the same thing. They don't know how to pick their coaches right. They get picks, they squander the picks, they don't do right with the picks, they don't know how to make the right trades, they don't have the right people in the play. My old teacher used to say, put your aces in your places. You gotta have your aces in your places. You gotta have the right coach for the right team. You gotta have the right quarterback, wide receivers, the corners, everything. You gotta have the right offensive and defensive coordinators and line coach. Everybody's gotta be on the same page. You look at the people who's always consistent, and I'm not talking about somebody that a team. You look at the playoffs. I'm talking about go back, because this is what I did last year. You look at who's making the playoffs consistently over a 10, 15-year period. A lot of times when they continue that type of success, it's because they have long-term staff there that knows what they need to do. They know how to get the people. They got the good scouting. They know how to pick the right people and get them in the right positions to be successful. You know, it's like if you look at the Bills, when they were going to 4 straight Super Bowls, and you look at the Bills now. It's funny that the Bills are like a joke team now, because when I was in high school, they was going to 4 straight Super Bowls. Everybody like, damn, they going again? That was when Bill Polian was there. Bill Polian knows how to build a team. He will build a team. He will put the right people in the right places. And, I mean, 4 straight Super Bowls, I mean, they didn't win any of them, but the fact that they actually went to 4 straight Super Bowls, I like to see a team go to. It's yet to be done again. I haven't seen anybody else do 4 straight Super Bowls. I saw the Cowboys go to 3 and 4 years. They did 2 straight, lost, and then they went to another one and won. And then you had the Green Bay Packers. They went to 2 straight. They won 1. They lost the next year to Elway. I mean, you know, it's hard to do. So the fact that he got them to the hump 4 straight years, that's hard to do. So even though they didn't win, I have to tip my hat to him. And then he goes to Jacksonville and builds that team up. Then of course comes to Indianapolis. He comes to Indianapolis. They are extremely successful. They get to a Super Bowl and win said Super Bowl. Then they get to another Super Bowl. They don't win that one. That was the Saints loss. He loses his job, and when he lost his job, I thought that was a lot of BS. Because, like I said, he loses his job because Peyton Manning has a neck injury. That doesn't make sense. Or they say he loses his job because Peyton Manning has a neck injury and he didn't have an answer, or they really didn't have a competent backup in place. Now, that's legitimate. If they go, damn, you sitting there, you spend all this money on everybody else, and then when because they had a lot of talent on the field last year. They had a bunch of Pro Bowlers and like a couple of All Pros on that team. You got Reggie Wayne was still on there, Pierre Garcon, a lot of these people that were still on that team. And you looking around and you go, if I had a quarterback, everything would be all right. And they brought Kerry Collins in, and it was just disaster. Matter of fact, they were sitting Kerry Collins. At the end, he was only supposed to be out a couple weeks, and they were sitting him out. They were just paying him to sit on his couch. They're like, all right, Kerry, we don't need you. Don't come in. Because at the point where they knew they weren't going to be able to make the playoffs, wasn't no reason to try to bring him in and try to win games, because they were like, we keep losing, we'll get the number 1 draft pick, which they did. And they end up getting Andrew Luck. So there you go. Who they're going to build around now. But Bill Polian knows how to build these programs. It's just you see that was, like I said, top 5 programs, and I had the Packers and Green Bay, the Giants, those type teams. I had all, like the Colts. I had, just teams like that were consistent. Because basically, you look at the Colts before Peyton had that neck injury, they made the playoffs like 10 straight years. That's unreal. I mean, it's like, uh, you know, they always made the playoffs. They never had a season where they didn't win at least 10 games. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that's success, you know, and that's unheard of. That just means if you have a franchise quarterback, a lot of stuff can go down. Franchise quarterback means everything. Steelers. I definitely mentioned the Steelers, and it pained me to mention the Steelers. But the Steelers, they have a model that works. They've only had what in their entire history? I think they've only had 5 head coaches, 6, because when they get a guy, they don't panic and they stick with him. It's like I can't remember. I'm like I said, I'm not a huge Steelers fan, but the guy that was the coach before Bill Cowher got there had been there when Terry Bradshaw was playing, and he won those Super Bowls. And then when he decided he was old and didn't want to do it no more, they hired Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher was like, all right, he stayed there about 12 years, won him a Super Bowl, went to 2, won him a Super Bowl. I don't feel like doing this no more. Then they hire Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's he's already taken them to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. And I mean they're gonna have to definitely retool, but I'm just saying the Steelers are a model of consistency. They pick people and they just put them in. They put people in the right place. It's like Dick LeBeau has been the defensive coordinator on that team for what, 30-something years? He's been there forever. He's been there. He was there when Terry Bradshaw was there. That's crazy that he's been there and been handling that defense. And they're not going that he's got an assistant in place because they say, okay, he's getting old. Eventually he's gonna want to step down. But they're not gonna push him out the door. And that's one thing I like about them is they're not gonna push him out the door. They're gonna let him walk away when he's ready to walk away. It's like, Dick, you ready to keep doing this? Yeah, I think I'll go another season or 2. All right, cool. And then when you ready to leave, your man will take over, and then we'll have him for 25, 30 years. You look around the league, and they're fine. Look at Mike Mularkey down there in Jacksonville. Had the team 1 year, and they fired his ass. Now, he only won 2 games, but he only had the team 1 year. Definitely doesn't have a franchise quarterback, and he didn't pick Blaine Gabbert. He walked into that situation. He took what they gave him. Maurice Jones-Drew held out, comes back, got hurt, about 3-4 weeks into the season, was out for about 7, 8, 9 games. I mean, he missed a bunch of games. So I'm sitting there going, he didn't really have an opportunity. They actually done better the year before. So it was like, that's crazy. But he takes the blame for that. And I'm sitting there going, wow, that's crazy. I mean, it is what it is. But that's crazy to me that he gets fired after 1 year. I mean, when I spoke about Romeo Crennel got fired. He really only had 1 season. He only had 1 season. Okay. He took over the previous year when they fired Todd Haley. And he coached the last, 3 games of the year? He was head coach for 3 games. And then they said, okay, you got a full season this year. They give him a full season. Yeah, they won 2 games too. They won like 2 games. So, but he don't have a quarterback, and they got injured, and everything was just terrible. And then obviously the dude kills himself and kills his girlfriend. It was just a bunch of mess. That was a disaster season. They got rid of Romeo. And it was just, I don't know about their draft pick, though. Like I mentioned, Don Terry Poe. They took Don Terry Poe, and that threw me off. I was like, what is that? I don't know what that is. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. I just think a lot of times when, that's why I'm saying you get top 5 bad and top 5 good. You look at who is consistently making the playoffs. Seahawks used to be a joke. And then they hired Mike Holmgren, and they started just consistently getting into the playoffs and being able to compete. And then Holmgren walked away, and then they kind of fell off again. And then now they got Pete Carroll in there as a good coach, and they got good GM and everything. Everything's starting to fall back in place again. They've been in the playoffs. He's been there 3 years, made the playoffs 2 out of those 3 years, and have a religiously good shot of making it into the conference championship if they can get past the Falcons this week, which, again, I just picked them. They're going to do it. I believe it. So I'm just saying, football is chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? It really is. And a lot of the more successful teams understand that. Look at the Cowboys used to be successful all the time. And I was watching First Take. I watch ESPN First Take pretty much every morning. I love Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless. And Stephen A. Smith said something. They fired the Cowboys fired Rob Ryan, Rex Ryan's twin brother. They fired him, and now they have hired Monty Kiffin, Lane Kiffin's father and innovator of the Tampa 2 defense, cover 2, all that good stuff. So but basically, Monty Kiffin's a genius, but he's 72 years old, and I don't know how much longer he's gonna be able to do what he do. But hopefully, if you're a Cowboys fan, he can get some people in place. Because I'm like I said, you're 72 years old, you ain't gonna be doing this thing forever. Get some people in place. Just get a good assistant that can help you innovate your defense. And then when you just like, look, I'm just gonna, because the reality, I saw Real Sports done an interview with Lane Kiffin after he screwed the University of Tennessee and went to USC. And Monty Kiffin was part of that interview. And he started talking about, at the end of the day, he was getting to a point where, he is older in his life, and he was just looking forward to, being able to spend time with his son and spend time with his grandchildren. He left the NFL to go to UT to coach with his son. And then he went with his son out to USC. So the reality of the situation is, I don't know how long I think Monty Kiffin's going to be in Dallas, because his son's still out there at USC. So his son's still out there at USC. His grandchildren, Lane's got like a little boy and a little girl and everything. So his grandchildren's still out there. So if he want to be with his grandchildren, he got to go out to California. So now he's going to have to be out there in Dallas. And so I'm sitting there going, okay. He already said that, he was looking forward to being able to spend time with his grandchildren and watch his grandkids grow up and blah, blah, blah. I mean, he's 72 years old. How much time you got left? So say you got another 10, 15 years. I'd rather be watching them grow up. It's hard to watch them in Dallas, where you're going to be on YouTube all the time or Skype. Let me Skype my grandkids, with a new iPhone or the iTablet or something, we'll just get them on a Skype app and see them, kind of nonsense right there. So the reality of the situation is, he'll be in Dallas a couple years, and then he'll just ceremoniously announce his retirement. And then he'll be right back there with his son, just watching USC Trojan games until USC figures out that Lane is not the man and they fire him. I'm just waiting on that to happen. Because I do think Lane. I think Lane. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying Lane should be fired because I don't like the way he did UT. So I mean, he had a bad year this year. There'll probably be a monster next year because he always gets these recruits in. I mean, he ain't getting Nick Saban level, but he gets some kids that, although on paper at the beginning of the season, you looked at his 5-star recruits and you looked at Alabama's 5-star recruits, he had more of them. More of those top 5-star recruits had committed to USC. And then he even took that one kid from what was that? Penn State. Yeah, he took the running back from Penn State, took the running back, and I was like, wow, this kid, that team's gonna be unstoppable. They played for like 3 weeks and then it was over for them. They lost a game and then they lost another game. I was like, okay. I mean, it is what it is. So, hey, I'm just saying. But yeah, let's look at these picks again. I get on these diatribes, I can't help it, but this is my show. Hey, it's my show, it's my rules. I'm doing it. But again, divisional playoffs. I got the Broncos, 49ers, Seahawks, and the Patriots all winning their games. At your boy TZ on Twitter, tzfbaby@yahoo.com. We love y'all. It's beautiful. It's real. Let's do this thing. Football show. See you next week. I'm out. Deuces.